Hello, hi everyone, and we are live. Welcome to this bonus session, which is all about releasing trauma. So let me know when you join live, or even if you're watching the replay, just pop it in the comments. I can't wait to welcome you and get this started. So I can see people can start to see me live. That's fantastic. Hello, hello. Put in the comments where you're calling from. I'm just going to check with Anna that everyone can see me in the group, which I think you can. So just welcoming you in. Hello, Susanna. Lovely to have you here. Okay. So yeah, I think people can see me live. I think I'm in the group. I'm going to just check myself. Facebook sometimes takes a while. Yay, 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 yay. Hello, hello. Lovely to see you all and be with you again for this bonus session. We have another one as well tomorrow, Sunday, and in fact, every day until doors close on Wednesday. So today I wanted to go into the juicy subject of releasing trauma. And before we get into that, I said today I would share with you what my one of my clients experienced working with me. Her name is Sarah Negus. A lot of you may know her already as the modern day shaman. So I'm going to hand over so we can hear from her. And then I am going to be going into more detail on releasing trauma. This is Kelly, and I'm here with my dear friend and mentor, Sarah, the modern day shaman. Hi, Sarah.
Hi there, Kelly. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to talk about your work and how it's helped me.
Oh, thank you. So I guess if we jump straight in then, what made you want to start working with me when you first started? Like, what drew you in that you thought this would be a great thing for you?
Well, I'm always curious about how each of us individually can explore more spiritually, explore ourselves more spiritually and energetically. And I'm also a little bit reticent often to work with people if they haven't looked at their own self enough. But because I know that you've been working with me for a year or so, I know how deeply you've gone into your own self so that you can open up to your talents and your gifts. And divine feminine energy is not something that I have had the pleasure until now of exploring. And I know that you are an expert in it, not only in the fact that you've learned about it, but you embody it. And it was an easy decision for me to ask you if I could join your circle of energy and learn from you.
Oh, well, I'm so honored to share this space with you. So I know we've been working together for a few months on that now. So if you think about like at the beginning and to where you are now, kind of what have been the big shifts or the results?
Well, how long have you got? What happened was that I wasn't really aware of the distortions that I was carrying within feminine energy and masculine energy, because both were distorted, even though I'd done a lot of personal development, spiritual development work and continue to do. This was another look at it, another way of going in. And it uncovered layers in my life that didn't support the divine, didn't support my creative force. That went through my physical body, my personal relationships, and a lot in my business as well, in terms of the way I was showing up. So I had quite a strong physical expression of detox. I ended my personal relationship in the way that it was. It's 5 years on, and that ended, although it then rekindled in a very much more powerful and healthy way. And in my business, basically, the more and more, I knew this anyway, but the more and more and more that I do less of the doing, because I don't really like all of the strategy and structure, the more things come towards me, the more ideas I have. And I've really understood that I'm good at the big picture. Someone else needs to do the steps between. And that's something that I was able to define through this work.
Oh, that's beautiful. You're able to step more into your leadership role, more into, your vision actually, and your creative ideas.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you talked a bit about the physical detox, but I think this is really, honest to talk about as much as you want to share. But what was a bit sticky through our journey together?
Feeling rubbish. Feeling physically tired, finding that my cycle and everything like that was all turned up and on its head, and in being emotionally frustrated about that, which is part of the distortions in feminine that I was carrying anyway. And it lasted a few weeks. I can't say that it was something that was easy or quick to get over. It wasn't. It lasted a few weeks. But I recognized what it was. Yeah,
because you've done so much work. But I think it's a good point. This work, because it requires you to embody the divine feminine, I really feel like it almost updates the whole frequency right down to a cellular level. And so there is a need for stronger boundaries for those that don't have that, and time, so that they have that time to integrate. Because the more that you allow yourself to do it, I really feel the stronger the result, the stronger you're able to get those spiritual gifts, your creative ideas.
It's interesting that in the energetic work, the shift is immediate, but living it is something quite different. And obviously the energetic shift won't stay with you if you continue in an old pattern. And that's what I was doing, is that I was integrating and moving into something new.
Yeah, beautiful. I absolutely love working with you on both sides, you with me and me with you. Has there been any unexpected benefits of activating your divine feminine?
Yes, I doubled my income. And at the moment, you're the only person that I'm working with in terms of on myself and on my business. So there's no coincidence. And it's six figures. So I've gone from 200 to 400,000 in terms of turnover, and it's just me not doing that much.
Oh, it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. And it just shows you, you can really do what you love, share your spiritual gifts, and not overwork yourself, this old masculine model of push, 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 to achieve these beautiful results.
Yeah. I did know that playing more was a way to grow my business. But playing more in distortion is almost a little bit like apathy. And that's not what you're teaching. It's not what you're sharing. And it's not what I do.
Yes.
Now.
It's so true, because we may think, oh, feminine energy is about leaning back, and it's about making sure that you're receiving. But if your energetic frequency is in distortion, i.e. that's about manipulating and about sucking things in and about manipulating people and money and energy in order to get it, then, because these are some of the distorted feminine traits, then you're not actually doing it in that pure divine frequency, which makes it easier.
I also, what came to me just then was entitlement, because you can lean back and go, well, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. And that again negates the divine energy, because there's no entitlement in that. It just is a birthright that if you're in the flow, it will come to you.
Yes, and it's my work, I feel it's about really working on yourself so that you see where those blocks are. And a lot of it is due to trauma. So it's not because we're stupid or we can't do it right. A lot of it is because we've been traumatized. And I'm talking about multi-generation, multi-lifetime traumatization that's really been passed through our genes, through our society, our conditioning. So clearing this up, it takes a while, but once it's done, you're really in that new feminine frequency, which I feel we're really seeing starting to rebirth around the world right now.
Yeah, well, we've stepped into the age of Aquarius, which is about empowering spirituality, and spirituality is this marrying of divine feminine and divine masculine. But educating people on what that is, I think, is your role here, because there's distortion around the understanding of it.
Yes, and we're seeing a lot of people talking about masculine and feminine now, aren't we? And some of the posts, I'm like, oh, if you're in distortion yourself, then when you're teaching it, you don't realize you're teaching distortion.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that particularly drew me to you, Kelly, is that you use your ego to motivate you forwards, but it's not the thing shouting out about what you do. It is not the thing needing to prove that you can. What comes through you specifically, I feel, is this knowing of the absolute power of the divine energies working together. And I think that when you have that knowing, there's no need to shout about it or you use shock tactics to get attention. It's about being in your truth, which I think that you embody really well.
Oh, well, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you and also talking to you today. Is there anything else you want to say before we hop off?
Well, I think that if anyone's watching this and is inquiring with Kelly to work with her, I suggest you say yes to it with your whole heart. Invest in yourself, because you won't look back. It will make such a difference to your life, to your business, and to all your relationships.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much, Sarah. If you want to get in touch with Sarah, I'll put the links below as well. And see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was really lovely to watch that back. And so I hope that you got something from that. Sarah is a master at her work, and she's already very successful. So it was an absolute pleasure, and it is a pleasure to work with her and help her get to her next level of success with the divine feminine. So we talked a bit about trauma then. This is what I want to talk about today, because we often actually don't know what trauma really is. We think it's something huge, and we don't know how to process it because we've lost all of the beautiful tools really throughout our culture. They're very much in the hands of the few. So first of all, for me, trauma is anything that you have experienced that has made you forget yourself, that has made you forget that you are divine, that you are loved, and that you are so important and such an important part of this universe. And what happens when we experience something that makes us think anything less than that is that we start to lose part of our beautiful divine energy. And we talked about that on day 3 of the training. Basically, parts of your beautiful divine feminine energy, the part of you that knows that you're connected to all, the part of you that knows you have a deep purpose to birth into the world, the part of you that has deep sacred wisdom that the universe is waiting for you to bring out, gets lost. It goes away. And so it can be anything from child experiences to feeling neglected, abandoned, unloved, perhaps living in poverty, not receiving enough food, perhaps abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, perhaps being bullied at school, perhaps having your first heartbreak, perhaps in your 20s having, you know, problems with friends or with your work. Anything that you've experienced in your life that hasn't been integrated and accepted can basically keep running your life. And so maybe you find yourself in a pattern of starting to dream again, starting to think, you know, I'm going to get my next level of success, or I'm going to find my purpose, or I'm going to find my dream man, or I'm going to create my next level of wealth. And you get really excited about it. And perhaps then you start to dream and you start to get excited about the possibility. And then it starts to slip through your fingers and you start to stop believing and you start getting into despair as you think it's never going to happen. This is such a common thing. And what happens then is we start to give up. We start to give up on our dreams. We start to give up on believing that anything is possible for us, and we start giving up on ourselves. So many people stop dreaming, stop believing, and stop going for their dreams when this happens, and it really breaks my heart. Because normally when this is happening, this is the breakdown before the breakthrough. This is your trauma, your limiting beliefs, your limiting emotions that haven't been processed are coming up now to be released so that you can step into the next version of yourself. They are actually on the way of you. If you think about it, if you want like to achieve a next level of success or next level of income, or, you know, find your purpose, that is a new frequency that you are not embodying right now. So in order to embody that frequency, all of the rubbish that isn't in alignment with that frequency comes up, and it's your trauma. And it's horrible because it's got all the voices that say you're not lovable, you're not enough, you're not good enough, you can't do it, everyone else can have it but you can't do it, it's you, or you're broken, or you're a mess. And it's basically these parts of you that have got disconnected from you that are really wanting to be integrated and to be seen. But unfortunately, what happens is when we're at that breaking point, they become overwhelming and you feel trapped and you give up. And so you go back to playing safe, staying in your life that's not great, but it's not that uncomfortable. You know, you're not in the fire, and just believing all of those thoughts and all of those emotions that that trauma created. And so you give up, and that is what really breaks my heart. The thing is, there's so many spiritual teachings out there now, and there's a lot of kind of law of attraction stuff that says focus on the positive, everything will be okay, or, you know, change your vibe, get out of your vibe and get into a high vibe only, you know, should only be high vibe. And to me, that is absolute rubbish, because if you energetically within yourself are holding a trauma where you really didn't feel loved, or you really didn't, or you were abused, or, you know, horrible things happened to you, until that is in your energy system, until it's resolved. So positive affirmations, thinking positive, all of this stuff, it just plasters on the wounds, and they are not solving the wounds, and the wounds don't go away. It's in your energetic field, and energy doesn't lie. So no matter what you say mentally or think or act, your energy is saying something else. And this is the invitation. The invitation is to see this trauma, this horrible stuff that comes up on your journey to success, as an opportunity. It's an opportunity to break free. It's an opportunity to transform all of the old ways of being, to love and accept all those parts of you, to call all of that energy back, so that you can step into that next level of success, that next level of becoming, that next thing that you're really got your eye on. You know, and growth isn't easy, because we've had lifetimes of trauma, multi-lifetime, multi-generational, as I said with Sarah. of trauma and false conditioning. We live in a conditioned society where we're broken from a young age, and we feel like we're not enough and we're not good enough, and we have a whole construct where everything is outside of us. We need to get ideas outside of ourselves. We need to get consultations on how we are outside of ourselves. It's all an external focus which cuts us off from the divinity of ourselves. So growth is looking at these patterns, seeing that they will come up when you go for your deep desires and wishes. That's exactly when they're going to come up, because they're coming up so that you can step into that new frequency. And this is exactly what my next program, Initiate the Divine Feminine Within, does. It helps you permanently, on a very real basis, release all of the trauma that is holding you back. It's a very deep cleanse in the pure transmutational energy of womb consciousness. As you heard Sarah say, it wasn't comfortable sometimes, and you'll see some of my other clients saying it was a difficult journey at times. But it's when you do it at womb consciousness, it goes down, right down to the root cause, so that you can be rebirthed into a new frequency of becoming, a new frequency of being liberated from all of the chains of your ancestral stories, all of the chains of your story, all of the chains of your past lives. And that means that you can then be, it's like you're rebirthed. It's like a black hole. Things go into the black hole and they get rebirthed again as stars. Your trauma goes into this womb consciousness. It's cleaned on a very, very deep level, and you're rebirthed again. Like you heard Naomi say yesterday, she was rebirthed. You're rebirthed into a new frequency of your next becoming. And your next becoming is absolutely massive. Honestly, it's all of what your secret dreams that you pretend that aren't for you, or you think are silly, or you think aren't possible, whether that's becoming a feminine leader, whether it's becoming some kind of healer to help thousands of others, whether it's being the wealth rich woman, whether it's being the woman who enjoys the deep intimacy with her partner and with all of life. And this is what this program is for. It is possible because it clears the trauma at a womb consciousness. So how this trauma can show up in your life, as I said, it shows up on the way to your dreams. But maybe you've experienced unhealthy relationships, perhaps toxic relationships, narcissistic relationships, and you keep kind of attracting the same type. That's a really classic. Perhaps you've been stuck in a pattern of struggle and survival. All of your life is about struggling, making it, and survival, trying to make things done that pushes you into that distorted masculine energy to try and get stuff done. Maybe it's been hard for you to attract the partner, the client, or the money that you wish. And it's because of this. It's the trauma that is holding you back. So my invitation is really to... Sorry, I've got dogs with me. No. Oh dear, got two dogs with me today, and someone just passed the door. How dare they? Yeah, so this is the invitation to really release all of that trauma and step into your next becoming. So today at midnight is the final chance to get the early bird offer, which is £500 off and a session with me. As I've said, this is a 6-month program. A bit more detail then. We meet in a live setting. So we go on Zoom and we're all together every 2 weeks. It's on a Friday afternoon, my afternoon, and I'm in Europe. And I always do it on Fridays, because then Fridays for me, you have the weekend to integrate, the weekend to be quiet, or find some time, if you have kids and you're busy, to have some time to integrate and really enjoy this work. Obviously, that'll be mornings if you're in the US. So we meet on a Friday, and it's very intimate, it's personal. You are seen and met for exactly where you are. You can turn up without all the masks on. You don't have to pretend that you're you've got your stuff together. You don't have to pretend that you know everything. You don't have to pretend that you're a success already. You can just be met exactly where you are. And that is an extremely powerful space for transformation, for stepping into your next level of becoming. We meet and we go through all of the initiations. For me, they are initiations. They're initiations into the divine feminine. You heard from Naomi yesterday. These are deep, deep, ancient, sacred teachings that I'm holding, and I'm really honored and grateful to share this work with you. It took me a lot of work to be able to step into this frequency. And so I'm honored to share this. We go through the initiations every 2 weeks. We meet for 6 months. So we meet in March, the 18th we begin, and we finish in September, if I've got my math right. And essentially we start off by really connecting on a much, much deeper level to the sacred temple within. We've only just got started on this course, and some of you haven't felt anything. Some of you started to feel tingling. Some of you had lucid dreams, but we really connect to this very deep sacred temple within. We then clear out all of the trauma from your lifetime. And if you heard from Anne yesterday, she'd held trauma that she thought would always be there throughout her whole life, even though she's done so much work, and it went on a very real basis. So clearing that on a very real basis. We then clear out all of the ancestral trauma. So this is things that may be passed down from us, stories of patriarchy, slavery, sadness, trauma, so that you are free to create your own story. You're not a victim of circumstance. You are a free, sovereign being that's able to be whoever she's meant to be, no matter what her background is. We clear out all of the distorted masculine relationships, past and present, where you perhaps take on their distortions, or you've taken on their distortions, their emotions and their traumas that's really weighing you down. This isn't about ending relationships, it's about deepening them if you are in a relationship, or ending unhealthy relationships, or perhaps you've just been out of a toxic relationship and you really want to clear that. We then go into clearing the distorted feminine at a root level, feeling this need that we're not enough, that we have to get love and validation from outside of ourselves, going very deep into that process so that you're able to really build that love and that power from within. It's extremely amazing when you do that, because you become a whole, complete person within yourself. And so then when you do create your project, your business, your next level, it's come from a pure vibration of love. It's not got any of your, I want to be loved, or I hope this is okay, or I want validation in some way. It's coming, it's freaking amazing and powerful. And this is your beautiful service of love to the world. And people will love that. You don't question it. It's really special. We then really get into clearing boundaries. And as I've talked about before, these aren't mental boundaries where you tell people what rules are. These are energetic boundaries around your sacred temple. Who is allowed in this temple? How do they have to be? Respectful, honoring, loving, caring. It helps you really harness this energy space for you, for your projects, for your business, for your ideas for the world. Finally, I share with you a very deep practice that was only shared with mystery school initiates before of the highest level. And this is a very, very deep dive into your inner sacred wise woman, the goddess from within. She will give you the most profound knowledge and wisdom that will just keep growing. It's absolutely transformational. This is how I live now. I go within and I have a very clear goddess that helps me create my creations for the world. And they come from such a deep space that I'm just honored to be the channel for that. So it's a completely different vibration to creating your business, your projects, your life purpose in any other way. So reach out to me today if you want to get that £500 off in private session with me. If not, then doors close Wednesday. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments. Thank you for joining me live. Sending you lots of love. Join me tomorrow, Sunday. I think it's 3 p.m. Let me just check. I'm going to put it in the group anyway. Oh no, it's 5 p.m. Central European time tomorrow. And I can't remember what I'm talking about tomorrow, so I'm going to have a look. What am I talking about tomorrow? I'm going to put it in the group. Oh, I've got too many documents open. Tomorrow I am talking about, oh yes, about finding your purpose. Yeah, I'm going to go into more details on that. So I can't wait to speak about that. Lots of love, everyone. Thanks for joining me live. Bye.